Hello and welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is a reading for Gemini. If Gemini is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Gemini, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And look at that, upside down Empress energy. Very interesting. Now, I usually don't read reversals, but I think for today we're going to leave that upside down and see what that might be telling us. Okay. We're going to do the rest of our Dove and Serpent spread, and as I do this, I'd like to offer, as always, if there's anything you need me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Okay, finishing up Path of the Serpent here. This is very interesting. A lot of very strong cards today. We're going to use a mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card, and for that, we will turn to the Waite-Smith deck. One random card, frog on top. We're not going to look at that until the very end of the reading. Okay. And hopefully that card will tie everything together and, give us the confirmation that we need. All right. So we've got the major. Water. A lot of water. Got this earth. Got a little bit of fire. So what we seem to be missing is that air energy. Now, Gemini, this could be that you don't have any kind of conflicts with anybody, so there's no air energy. It could be that we're not really thinking about much right now. There's not a lot on our mind. We're looking more for experience, more for action, more for creativity, more passion, more breakthroughs, right? We don't really need to debate about things. We don't really need to talk about a lot of stuff right now. So we start with that Empress energy, and this came out of the deck, obviously upside down. So what is turning this on its head for you right now? This is usually a lot of productivity, a lot of love, a lot of nurturing, a lot of healing, a lot of affection, a lot of joy, right? This is really being in a good place to create what you are meant to create, and then to take care of it afterwards, right? To sustain it. But it's kind of on its head right now. So there's something that is changing about that creative process for you. And here's the Two of Discs talking about change. I think you're someone who is intensely creative. I think that maybe you have been in this, this inverted Empress mode for a while. My daughter's toy. She doesn't play with it. It's like a jungle thing. It's got a little electronics, a little speaker in it. She hasn't played with it for months now, but for the last couple of days, as I've been filming, the thing just goes off randomly, and it's got like jungle sounds and things like that. So you might hear that periodically. It kind of emphasizes what I'm saying at weird moments. But I feel like you've been in this kind of inverted Empress energy lately. I think that you've been maybe doing a lot of work taking care of others, Yeah, I think that's the ticket there. I think we're onto something. I think you've been putting in a lot of effort taking care of others. You've been the nurturer. You've been the caregiver. You've been the one providing, right? And it's a little bit off balance, right? It's kind of on its head. It's not really upright and stable in the way we would expect it. It's almost just, it's all giving, it's no receiving, right? So what I feel is going on right now with you is we're looking to change that, okay? I guess we have to listen to the whole song now. I hope that doesn't bother anybody. I should maybe just get rid of that thing, but it's kind of interesting, and I want to let it do its thing, right? I don't want to impede its will. If it is choosing to provide us some messages right now, then we'll go ahead and stick with it, There's an elephant there. So maybe that is the elephant in the room, right? This idea that you've been doing all of the caregiving, all of the taking care of, and not so much of the creation, right? Maybe your role has become one of nurturing others, right? And maybe what we're really looking to change right now is the balance of this. You know, we want to nurture, we want to take care of, but we also want to create, right? And I think that, I really do think we're onto something here. A lot of these other cards that we see are about creation, right? About experiencing love and joy and harmony in our world, but one that's fair, one that's got balance to it, one that's reciprocating, one that is respectful. It's a two-way street, right? So I kind of think that you need to look at this. You need to look at whether or not you are taking enough time for yourself to do your creative projects, to do whatever your creative work is, or if all of your free time is spent kind of like looking out for others, you know, focused on others, taking care of others' needs rather than your own. Because right now, that Empress is on their head, okay? Now, like I said, I don't really read reversals. I'm not going to tell you what an upside-down Empress might mean. I think we can kind of get a feel for it just by thinking about it, by feeling that energy, right? That creative, nurturing energy is just kind of not the way you would expect. It's kind of upside down right now. Right? And I do think that's what we're looking to change. And in order to do that, I think we really have to start standing up for ourselves. This is the Eon card, Judgment card, Rebirth, Reawakening. And it's behind you. So this is the door that we have to walk through in order to really start to turn some of this energy around and to embrace all of this very creative, loving energy, you know? So this is a little bit of confidence, a little bit of self-assertion. This is you standing up for yourself. But we don't see any indication here that you're going to completely go the opposite way, right? That you're just going to stop loving and stop taking care of people. I don't think that that's who you are. I think that what this is trying to do is get you to a place of a real balance, a real harmony, a real Six of Cups, right? Down here beneath everything. So the Empress is not going to suddenly become an emperor and be a tyrant and a bully and be, you know, mean and, forceful and aggressive with that energy, right? It's still Empress card. So it still wants that harmony. It still wants that reciprocating, loving, balanced. And, you know, we have the Six of Cups. We also have the Six of Wands at the end. And that's kind of punctuated by the 3 and the 10 of Cups. So it's not about going completely into the fire energy and just being a force, right? But it is about standing up for yourself and making the decision to start your creative work, whatever the Empress represents for you. Now, we're all creative people in our own way, right? Whatever you might be doing that is for you, it's still, yes, it still might be for everyone else, but it's something that's for you, right? It's not an obligation, it's not a job, it's not a responsibility. It's something that you do for you that you may, of course, share with others, and it may benefit others in an indirect way. But we have to make the decision first to start taking this time for ourselves, to start doing this work, to find out even what it might look like. What is it that we want to do? Now, maybe that's the reason why there is no air energy here, because we haven't really thought about it. A cozy place for sleeping animals to nap. That could be kind of where we've gotten a little complacent in this energy, right? It's almost as if you're getting comfortable being on your head. Doesn't sound very comfortable to me. But we've just kind of rested in this state, and maybe for quite a while we haven't really done anything about it. We've gotten a little bit comfortable here. We haven't really given it too much mind, you know, haven't really put too much thought into it. But I think now it's really, I think it's being emphasized by the cards, by spirit, by the universe, by that toy back there, that's saying now is the time to kind of wake up to this, and this card's all about reawakening. Right? hearing the trumpet call from the divine that says, hey, look, you've been standing on your head for a long time. Let's put you in a little bit more of a comfortable position, one that is going to actually be good for you, and that's going to allow you to express yourself, to be creative in your own way, whatever that means to you. Now, by expressing your love, that could be how you are creative, right? These things aren't incompatible. It's still an Empress energy. Like I said, it's not just about assuming this really fiery and forceful role in order to, be a little selfish and take what's yours and do what you want and create according to your will. You're still an Empress. You still have this, I think, you still have this innate desire to build this harmonious life, okay? So I think things do need to change in your environment, in your house. Maybe this is at home. Maybe this is at work, right? Maybe this is friends. Maybe this is family. Wherever this really is taking shape, something needs to be changed. The schedule needs to be changed. The responsibilities need to be changed. The physical environment might have to be rearranged. You might have to move some furniture. You might have to clear out a spare room or a basement or the corner of the garage, something to give you your space to do your creative Empress work, right? So it's not only about taking time for ourselves, it's about taking space, about taking the initiative with that with the Eon card, the Judgment card. Taking the initiative to do this. No one's going to do it for you, right? But things do need to change. And if they do, in the future is the Ten of Cups. Complete fulfillment. You're going to be satisfied in ways that you never thought you needed to be, right? And that is through this expression, this manifestation of your Empress energy, whatever it looks like to you, however you are comfortable expressing that and living that. It is going to be satisfying in new and unexpected ways, right? You're going to find that you have these ideas, these passions, these desires, these projects, these inspirations, these loves that you didn't even really know about. Because maybe we hadn't really thought about it, So I see this as a very, very wonderful immediate future. This is what is right in front of you, This is you taking the initiative to change things in your environment so that you can fulfill your needs, express yourself in these creative ways. Now, it doesn't mean that you're a painter and you have to go start painting or something. We're all creative in our own way, okay? And these 10 cups are your various ways that you want to express yourself. It doesn't have to be traditionally artistic, right? So what we do want is the 6 of Cups. We want peace and harmony. We want love and respect. We want tranquility, peace and love, right? That's what we want. So we're not trying to invoke the Emperor energy, right? We're not trying to dominate everyone and be that tyrant. We want harmony and peace. We want to be able to do our will and be our creative selves in whatever way we do that. And we want everybody else to do their thing too. Live and let live, kind of. We just don't want the conflict. We want everyone to succeed. And if this is in your home environment, if this is at work, if this is with your friend group, this is a real harmony and a respect, a mutual respect. Everybody respects everybody else's boundaries, their time, their space, and their unique expression of creativity. You don't want to be judged. You don't want to judge anyone else, right? We do have that Judgment card, but that's the only judgment that we want here. And this is kind of us judging ourselves, judging the situation, right? And not in a bad kind of, like self-deprecating or a judgmental way, but deciding that we need something to change in order for our lives to have more value and more meaning, right? That kind of judgment. Next, we have this very strong earth energy. This is maybe the little bit of air that we have because this is the Prince of Discs, the air of the earth. This is you, I think, now beginning to think of ways that you can build what you want, create what you want. This is you now with the time and the space to do this, and now you're starting to figure out what you want to do, how you want to do it. You have to listen to the song again. I think I'm going to put that in a different room at some point so we don't have to listen to this in every reading. It just started yesterday, and I don't know what's wrong with that thing. I haven't looked at it. I'm kind of afraid to go near it. Anyway, you're starting to clear out that room, clear out that time in your life, and now you have to really find out what you want to do with that. You know, if you're asking your environment, your family, your friends, your work to allot you a certain time and space to do these things for yourself, if you are kind of demanding that, you know, we have to formulate some sort of a plan of what we're going to do with that time. And it doesn't mean, again, there's not a lot of air energy here. So it doesn't mean that you have to do this planning beforehand. You don't need a schedule. It doesn't have to be rigid and organized. It's just something that you need to eventually think about how you're going to express yourself. What are you actually going to do? You know, when the time comes, what are the literal activities? You know, this is a very literal card. This is a card that wants to do something with their hands, right? Wants to get dirty, wants to get paint everywhere, wants to start building, or whatever this is. It needs the physical component, you know. So we have to have an idea of what that is going to be. And again, I really like having the Ten of Cups in the immediate future. I think that is just such perfect satisfaction that, you know, now that the Empress is upright again, they can enjoy these 10 cups. Right, which is their destiny. That's your right to do. You know, I like that. I like that very much. Moving over to the path of the Serpent now, we start with this Devil energy. Okay. Now the Devil energy, it's always kind of two sides. There's two horns on the goat, right? One is you maybe being so focused on this work now that you start to really obsess over it. You start to hyper-focus on it and fixate on it. And a lot of your other responsibilities kind of get pushed aside. It's almost like a real addiction now. This is just one side of things. It could go this way. And this is, it's a double-edged sword because on the one hand, it's very productive. You can get a lot done. You can really excel at whatever you're doing. It's like this obsessive mind that just wants to do it 24 hours a day, right? It's all you can think about. It's a real fixation. And that leads to a lot of progress. You could accomplish a lot in a very short amount of time. But this also might start to neglect and throw off balance some of this water energy, especially the Six of Cups. Because it's too intense, that it's starting to kind of butt into other people's time. It's starting to eat away at other people's resources, right? Just like a goat that kind of is left on its own to do whatever it wants. The other horn here is kind of this idea that you aren't supposed to have this. Does that make sense? Is there a part of you that just kind of the opposite of being fixated? Well, no, maybe it's not. Maybe you're fixated on the other idea that that this is wrong in some way. There's some kind of guilt here for wanting this. You know, that you are in some way, you know, betraying someone or something, or the order of things, or whatever it might be. It's almost as if there is the potential, I'm not saying this is how you feel, but there's the potential there to feel a little bit guilty for taking this time for yourself to do your work. It's almost like we deserve to be on our head, and we're going to feel a little bit guilty when we put ourselves in a more comfortable position, when we do what is ultimately seems like common sense, you know? You've been standing on your head for a while. Who would blame you for righting yourself, for getting yourself back up and down the way you're supposed to be, right? It seems silly, but there is this idea that you should still be in that position. This kind of is hinting at the Hanged Man. I wonder if we're going to maybe get a Hanged Man. If we do get a Hanged Man, that would tell me that this is a little bit more likely than I think it is. I don't think it's very likely, but it is a possibility, or there may be others in your environment that kind of maybe suggest that energy a little bit. Okay, so we need to be a little bit cautious of that. The next card is our environment, and this is the world, the universe. The world is your oyster. This is the unlimited possibilities of your life, of your creativity. This is you. This is your relationship with your environment. And it seems like what we want to do is expand our environment. We don't want to feel like the walls are closing in. We don't want to feel like our ability to move is being limited. We don't want to feel as if our world is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I don't know what that is. We want our world to expand, right? We don't want limitations. So this card could be either way. It could be the field in which you can grow anything you want. But this card is also partakes of a Saturn energy, which is very limiting, very strict and restricting. Gets smaller, right? So I think that's a big concern for you. And I think that's part of the reason why now really is the time for you to do this, and why you're hearing this trumpet call right now with this Judgment card. Now, the next card, there's a little bit of light and shadow here. This is the Three of Cups, beautiful card, abundant energy, love overflowing with joy and pleasure. You have a lot of love to give still, and you're giving in. And it's almost like now that you can right yourself, now that you feel like you're more aligned and more in balance, you have even more to offer everyone in your life, right? You're overflowing now with this charity and love and generosity and affection, this nurturing Empress energy. But this card's in the position of what we don't want. So what I'm feeling from this is that so much of this abundance, so much of this joy and all of those things I just described, could really like tip your boat over. You could kind of capsize again, and we could be right back where we started with an upside down Empress. So we want this, but it has to be this. This has to be our foundation, right? These are like the outriggers on your canoe or whatever that keep you from capsizing. If it's just a 3, this is just you giving, 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 because that's who you are. That's what's in your heart. It has to be balanced. There has to be a limit. We have to know when we might be tilting a little bit too far to one side, right? And that, again, is kind of what we see with the Six of Wands. This is you having the courage, really the will, the confidence, the assertiveness to right your boat when it starts to kind of tip over a little bit too much. This is your ability to do what needs to be done, to stand up for yourself, to speak up so that things can stay balanced. And if something isn't working in your life, we have to invoke this air energy that's missing, and you have to have a voice, right? You have to find the ability to speak up, to speak out when you find that you're starting to kind of lean over, and pretty soon we're going to be on our head again. Okay. So I think that is a large part of the message for you right now is finding the voice. I think we've heard the call, we have the courage, we have the will, we know what we want. We just have to speak up. You know, we have to assert ourselves, and we have to do what's necessary, right? We have to stand up for ourselves, and we have to speak up. So I want to put these cards back where they were. I think that's how they were. And we're going to look at this mystery card now. I wonder if this is the Hanged Man, then we kind of know what that's going to tell us. I don't have a heck of a lot of speculation here. So we're just going to reveal it and see what it says. A 3 of Discs. 3 of Discs. Kind of the same thing as the 3 of Cups. A doing. A lot of work. This is you doing a lot. Having a lot of responsibilities. And maybe not being appreciated for it. Right? Not being recognized for all of the work that you do, all of the responsibilities that you have. And I think that's part of what's going on here. That's part of, the 3s are really beautiful cards, right? You watch any tarot reading, you get a 3 of Cups or a 3 of Discs, and it's usually really great news. And this is still really great news. It's still really positive energy. You're doing good work. You have an abundance of joy and emotion and love to give. And you understand this about yourself. And the problem, if there is a problem, the problem is being taken advantage of for this wonderful energy. Right? That this wonderful energy might put you off balance and the Empress comes out upside down. So we have to be ready to speak up against this when we start to see this happening. Now with the 3 of Discs, again, this is kind of, there's a flip side to this. There's a more positive aspect to this confirmation card. Once you decide what it is that you're going to be creating, what it is that you want to do, the physical activity that you're going to do that is an expression of your Empress, then I think you will be recognized for that creation, right? You may really surprise people by what you do, and they'll be like, oh, I had no idea. And then you'll kind of have a laugh to yourself, yeah, because I never took the time to express myself, to do any of this. You know what you're good at, you know what your talents are, but you've been in this mode of taking care of others that you've not taken the opportunity to express this side of yourself. And now that you are, I think people are going to be very pleasantly surprised at what you can accomplish, what you create, and how artistic or how creative you are, right? So, a lot to unpack in this reading. We're going to do an extended, and if you would like to stick around for that, just click on the link right up there. You'll have access to all of the extended readings, not just for Gemini, but for all of the zodiac signs. I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for taking this journey with me. And thank you for being the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot.